Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Lena and today I'll be showing you how to make 3 spring projects out of cotton fabric. Firstly, we'll be making some quilted placemats with ruffles around the edges. Then I have a tutorial for quilted tote bags. These are so cute. Lastly, I'll be showing you how to make a super simple no zipper skirt with an elasticated waistband. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a like and subscribe for more videos like this. Here is how to make quilted placemats. Choose about 4 colors of cotton fabric. I like to buy old sheets from the thrift store and cut a bunch of squares out that are 4.75 by 4.75 inches. You will need 12 squares per placemat, and later on you'll need 24 squares per tote bag. Once you have all of your squares, you'll then arrange them into rectangles of 3 by 4 squares. This part is super fun and you can get really creative. Start sewing squares together in strips of 4, going from left to right of your previously designed rectangle. I like to do all of these at once, assembly line style, and use a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Here is my first strip, and I'm just going to keep going. Then it's time to iron flat all of your seam allowance on all of your strips. Then you just sew your strips together lengthwise, like so. And make sure that you pay special attention to matching up those seams and also keeping your seam allowances down flat as they were ironed. With those seams matched up, you'll have that really perfect spot where all 4 squares meet, and it just makes a really clean little corner like so. Then iron down those seams and your little quilted rectangles are finished. I made 2 here, 1 for each placemat, and while I was at it, I decided to make 4 more rectangles for the 2 totes. Next, cut out a rectangle that is 16 inches by 12.5 inches, and you'll cut out 1 rectangle per placemat and then 2 rectangles per tote bag. For the ruffly border around the placemats, I cut out 4-inch wide strips of fabric. I was using an old pillowcase and didn't have a lot of fabric, so I cut out multiple strips and sewed them together. But what you really need is 1 strip per placemat that is about 2.5 yards long. Give them a nice press, and now you can start sewing your pieces together if you needed multiple to reach that 2.5 yard length. Then iron them in half lengthwise and close each one up by sewing the 2 short ends together, making a loop. Be careful not to get it twisted up here. Sew 2 basting stitches along the open edge of each ruffle and then start gathering them so that they fit perfectly around 1 rectangle each. Making sure that everything looks nice and even, go ahead and pin everything in place and then sew a basting stitch all the way around. Next, take one of your finished quilted rectangles and place it right sides together with the right side of the bottom piece. Then sew all the way around, leaving a 5-inch wide gap on one of the short ends. I would suggest pinning these together. I did not and had to redo one of them. So definitely pin it and sew. Once you've finished sewing, go ahead and turn it right side out, really pulling on the ruffles in the corners to make them look nice, and then cut out a hard piece of interfacing. Make this about 1 centimeter smaller than the placemat all the way around and insert it into the placemat through the hole that we left open. The interfacing is optional, but it definitely gives it a more professional look. Just close up this open edge with hand stitching. Here we are, finished placemat. Now for my favorite of the 3 projects, quilted totes. Make two 4x32 inch rectangles for the straps and iron them in half lengthwise, and then iron the sides in by 1 centimeter each and fold like so. Sew down both sides. Next, take two 3x4 square quilted rectangles and sew them together, leaving one short side open. These rectangles are the same ones that we made for the placemats. Do the same with your 16 by 12.5 inch lining pieces. To create the bottom of the totes, pull on the corners opposite of the seams and lie it flat. Then measure 2 inches in from the corner and make your stitch line. I used a 2-inch wide ruler and a pencil to make this process really easy. Then just sew along that line. I also serged across that line, or you could just cut off that corner to reduce excess bulk. Make sure to do this to the lining as well. Next, place your lining inside of your quilted tote and make sure that they're both wrong sides together. Match up the side seams and get everything super situated. Fold in your open raw edges together by about 2 centimeters and then fold them in again, ironing along the way. And this will prep for a really nice, clean finish to the top of the bag. Insert one end of your first strap 1.5 inches away from the side seam and kind of push it up into that little head that we just made, and then fold it over like that and pin it in place. Being careful not to twist it, take the other side and do the same. You'll also do this with the other strap on the other side of the bag and sew all the way around the bag. I think I did this about 1/2 inch from the top edge, and I backtracked at the beginning and the end of each strap to secure it extra. I then added another stitch line all the way around, again maybe a little less than 1/2 inch below. This gives it a really nice, clean, and secure finish. Lastly, you just need to iron your tote, and it's best to do it in 2 steps. Make sure you get your lining in there really well and then fold it over like this and iron, and then down like that and iron. You get your straps a little and your tote is finished. Now for the skirt. Let's talk about these pattern pieces and how I got them. Firstly, I cut 2 skirt pieces, both out on the fold. The skirt is going to be gathered, so I want a lot of excess fabric. I made sure that each skirt piece could fit around my waist fully so that it will basically be double my waist measurement once I put them together. Lastly, let's talk about the waistband. I just made sure that it can fit all the way around the widest point of my hips and then added a couple of inches. That's just to make sure that the elasticated waistband will be able to stretch over my hips and I can put the skirt on easily. Begin by sewing the side seams of the 2 skirt pieces. I went ahead and sewed and then serged the side seams of the skirts, and they are all put together. Now I just need to iron the seams toward the back of the skirt, and then I'm going to add 2 gathering stitches to the top opening and gather this to the length of the waistband. If I had more time, I probably would have also put a couple of pockets in on, well, 1 pocket in on each side. Now I'm just going to finish prepping the waistband. It was 4 inches wide and then I ironed it in half, and now I just need to close up the loop. Careful not to twist it. I'm going to sew these right sides together, and then I'm going to add the gathered side of the skirt to it. Also, press the seam flat after you've sewed it. Just pin the waistband to the gathered top part of the skirt. It should look like this, and you're just going to sew all the way around. I also serged. All right, I've got this skirt inside out here and I sewed the waistband on. It is just slightly gathered because the elastic will do the rest of the gathering once I add it into the waistband. Now I'm just going to finish prepping the waistband, and I'm going to iron in about 1 centimeter along this open edge, and I'm going to iron it toward the wrong side of the fabric, and then we're essentially going to fold it over and sew it down like this over all the messiness, and then it will look really nice on the outside. Pin everything in place and then stitch in the ditch to close this whole thing up. Leave 1 inch open to put the elastic in. I top stitched the waistband all the way around the skirt, and as you can see, it's still pretty big for me, so I'm going to add the elastic in now. I left this little inch open here, and I'm just going to feed the elastic through with a safety pin. This is 1 inch wide elastic, and I made mine too long. It was a few inches wider than my waist circumference. You actually want this to be 3 to 4 inches smaller than your waist circumference. It's pretty stretchy, and as you can see, definitely didn't fit me the first time. I secured the 2 pieces of elastic together, or the 2 sides, by using a zigzag stitch. I then made the elastic channel smaller because it was getting twisted, just by sewing a straight stitch all the way across the top, about a 1/2 inch down, and then I just hemmed the skirt. This skirt was so cute that I had to make a matching top. I hacked a Daria pattern making bustier pattern, and let me know if you'd like to see a tutorial on how I did that. This outfit was so fun to spin around in, and it was even comfortable enough to lie around in reading my book. I think the quilted totes are so cute and trendy right now. They're going to come in handy all spring. I ended up bringing all of these projects with me to a picnic later on in this day, and I wanted to show you some of the pictures. We painted candles and had a super yummy cheese board. Thank you very much for watching.